really, for the most part, most temptations come in as soon as they come in. And I just picture temptations kind of like billboard signs as you're driving by. You just kind of do one of these things, and it just passes you. Do you see? But if you start to entertain the thing, it's like the car stops in front of the billboard. No, you just get past it. You just keep shaking the thing off. You do the etch and sketch. And you just make them go away, or you focus on something else, or just something else to take your mind to a different thing. Consider something else. What's probably the most appropriate thing to do is, if you have thoughts of impurity or something like that, you immediately put your thoughts on Our Lady and start contemplating something about Our Lady. Have something ready. If it's about a truth of the faith, well, then you focus on the truth of the faith, not on the doubt that you have on the truth of the faith, but the truth of the faith. Do you see? You just attack it with whatever it's coming at you, but not with the thing that's coming at you. You don't consider that thing. You don't look at that thing. You don't allow it to bounce around in your head. You just let it gets chucked in, and you let it just go right back out. Whereas you divert your gaze to something else that's pure, something that's wholesome, something that's true, something that's just going to change your attention, like the bathroom, whatever it might be. But I think the thing is to say that it just keeps staying there. Well, there's probably a reason why it's staying there. And sometimes there's a desire for it to stay there. Do you see? There's this conflicted thing. Something comes in and you don't want it, but then it stays there because you kind of won't let it go. Do you see? There's also that in the early stages of the spiritual life, where you've got to be detached from all these things and not want anything. Do you see? Except for all of those things that are good and those things that are holy and those things that are so. Because that's where the devil will get you later on, is something will come in after a long period of time. You've beaten these things. Then the thought comes in. You're not attracted to it, but you'll start considering, why did it come in now? And there you go. You're starting to drift into that thought now. You're starting to drift in. It's starting to take hold of you without even knowing it. It'll just be like playing there in the background. But you're not attracted to it. You're not interested in it. But now you're interested in, why would that come after all these years? And there you go. Now you're chasing that thought. So you got to be very, very aware of whenever the things come in. It's like, no, we're not doing that. We don't do that. An internal dialogue is always very helpful too, to constantly say what you want and to reject what you do not want. You immediately reject and you affirm what you want, and that's it. And keep focusing on what you want. I reject anything that's not that. Anything that's not that. Not focusing on the thing that you're rejecting. Does that make sense? So you just got to come up with better warfare tactics, because if they're coming in and you're not beating them, and then they just keep getting worse, and you don't know if you've thought about it, well, you just got to think, that's where the conscience comes in. You have to examine it, and don't be scrupulous about it. You know that you just kept focusing on something else. And there can be these times horrible temptations come in, let's just say of impurity. You're completely, like, even in your mind's eye, looking at something else, but they're still just flooding you from the other side, but you're looking at the other thing. Well, okay, did you engage any of those? Because you saw them pretty vividly. Did you engage them? No, because you were actively trying to do something else. St. Alphonsus says, if you were praying during even the worst temptations, you didn't sin. And that could be a really good guide. So if you know that certain kind of temptations come and you don't know what to do with those temptations, then just pray. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to pray? I mean, just keep saying your Hail Mary. Keep just, remember, prayer isn't necessarily a formulated prayer. If you're working, doing something, and it's kind of complicated or whatever else, and you're being assailed by these other things or whatever, it's enough to just keep telling our dear blessed Lord you love Him. That's a prayer, because you're raising your heart and your mind to God. Just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. St. Alphonsus says, if you prayed the whole time, you did not commit a sin. Okay, because it's not possible. You love God. You want to. I mean, think about it. Well, maybe don't think about that. But if you're trying to pray and stay completely engaged in God, and you do not want to offend them in any way, and horrible thoughts are coming in, how in the world are you engaging them? Do you see? So that's the thing, like you just got to kind of change the tactic. And then afterwards you realize, did I engage that? Well, I don't know. I don't know how I would have. All I know is I prayed. St. Alfonso says this: I prayed, I didn't stop praying, I fought tooth and nail, and I think I can say that I didn't fall. I didn't engage it, I didn't entertain it, I didn't consider it. Do you see? But there's also has to be remembered, if you're considering something and you don't know you're considering it, you're not culpable at that moment. The moment you understand that you're considering something, because this stuff comes in when you're in a foggy haze, when you're driving, when you're walking, you don't even know you're thinking about a thing. And then you realize you are, that's the moment you have to start fighting. Do you see? Because you didn't know. But then that's another thing you can have your guardian angel, he's there to help you with this kind of stuff too, but we get rusty with our guardian angels because if we don't have that constant communication or closer relationship, he might be trying to help us out, but we're not too attuned to him anyways. Do you see?